This episode of Twin Speaks contains spoilers.
Welcome back to another episode of Twin Speaks, first watch, first listen of Halloween, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Mike Myers, Judy Greer, Andy Matichak, Will Patton, and Virginia Gardner.
I hold my breath every time you say those names, just because I know that it must be so anxiety-inducing for you.
I have to go through it all in one breath.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Go on.
Directed by David Gordon Green, written by Jeff Fradley, Danny McBride, and David Gordon Green. I am your co-host, Pat. You can find me on Twitter at @KidCombo_. And today I am joined by a special guest while Andrew's away. Well, I guess he's not away when we're doing this. He's not yet. He'll be gone tomorrow. We'll take him out. You can find her on social media, States of Georgia. She recently just celebrated her birthday. It's Georgia, as you could probably tell from before when you were talking.
Hello.
Yeah. How was your birthday?
It was great. You left out a very vital title for me, I think.
What was that?
I am also your girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, right.
So,
yeah.
Girlfriend and
co-host,
lover.
Girlfriend.
Lover.
Okay.
No, but my birthday was really good. It was really fun. I almost threw up on my birthday cake, so...
Yeah, you recovered super quickly, though.
You could say
that was pretty good.
It was a bit rocky, but
in
all, a good time.
It was rocky for, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you brought it back together.
Just had to lay on the bathroom floor for a couple minutes, regroup myself.
Calling people in separately, talking to you.
Yeah, it was almost like they were visiting me, it's the final viewing when, after you die and people come to look at your casket.
Yeah, right.
When it's open and pay their respects. That's kind of what was happening last night in the bathroom.
That's kind of what it was. It was like you were dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spiritually, emotionally.
Emotionally.
Physically.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
What did we see? We saw this
on Tuesday.
October 30th.
October 30th,
Yeah, day before Halloween.
Getting ourselves spooked.
Very spooked, yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't felt very, I don't know, this year wasn't as Halloween-y as I wanted it to be.
Yeah, right.
I always I really love October. And I don't know why. Maybe just because we weren't watching that many scary movies. We kind of committed to it at the beginning of
because we were
month,
watching,
and then we just we watched a couple.
Yeah, back to back kind of thing.
What did we watch?
Oh my god, I don't remember.
Oh, we watched these Edgar Allan Poe adaptations.
Oh yeah, right.
Those are really cool on
Those
Netflix.
Were cool.
It's all animated and they're narrated by this guy, and it's really, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool.
House of Usher. That was on
That's
Netflix.
right. Yeah.
Cool. And then
really cool animated style. I wish I remember what it was called, but
yeah. And then we watched what was that movie with the cats?
The cats?
The Wild Things? Is that what it was called? The Wild Things?
Oh,
we rented this movie.
That Stephen King one.
Yeah, that's
right.
Came out in 1992, and honestly, I think you can watch that movie all year round because it was amazing. Simple plot summary: a guy who lives with his mom.
Stalker. That's what it was called.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
A guy who lives with his mom. No, it's not called a stalker.
The Stalker? Something like that. But he lives with his mom, and they're
and they basically are aliens.
They're shapeshifters.
Yeah, that have to feed off of virgins.
Yeah, right.
So it's about this guy who looks like a teen that coincidentally has sex with his mom in his spare time, tries to lure a teen girl, and it gets weird really fast. Let's just say somebody gets impaled by a cob of corn. So.
And
we'll have to put this information in the description for this video so that you can, because we're obviously failing.
You can look it up.
We're failing at remembering the name, but it was a must see, I think.
It was incredible, and the
Nightwalkers. That's what it's called. The Nightwalkers.
That's what it was. Because it's based off the Stephen King novel.
Yeah.
And it's these, and the makeup is unbelievable.
No, the makeup is insane.
They have cat bodies, but naked cats,
and then they have alien faces, and one kryptonite is that that they are afraid of cats.
And cats can kill
them. And cats can kill them.
House
Just,
cats.
Like one
not like
swipe of a house cat's paw and they die. And there's always, you see all of these cats all over the movie, like finding them. These people, the mother and her son live in this house, and there's just the entire house is surrounded by cats the entire movie because they can sense them because they're trying to kill them.
And it's not even like,
it's not a logical film whatsoever.
No, and they're not even like cool cats. They're not like tigers or something that could actually kill a person. It's like they're just house cats, and like some of them have collars and stuff, and like
and these house
probably
cats
called
get,
mittens. And
they get brutally murdered throughout the film.
Right.
So, like if you're a cat lover,
like the one lady picks it up and
this.
just cracks its
She just
neck.
cracks its like spine or something.
Yeah.
If you're a house cat lover or you have a cat, I would not recommend watching those parts.
Definitely not. It's a bit
because
scarred.
It's pretty gross. But the movie in general was really cool and really funny.
It was pretty good.
And like just the right amount of like Halloween kitschiness, you know?
Who was the girl in it?
She's also I cannot pronounce her name, but she plays
the girl in the diner from Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what her character name is or her actual name.
I know. We really got to work on this.
But anyway, yeah, man. Like we saw that a week ago.
Yeah, bring it back to the movie.
Yeah. All right, let's get it. We'll jump into some news here. We'll start strong. Although that was a strong start too.
I didn't think that was going to come up, but
yeah, and then we talked about it for like 5 minutes, so that was still good. For news, It Too. You and I saw
it together.
With Andrew and Andrew's partner Jill.
Yeah.
So did you hear? It Too has officially wrapped filming. So they're all done that. I mean, that was quick.
I didn't realize they were making another one.
See, this is why we brought you on.
Yeah. Clearly, I'm just really in the loop.
But yeah, I mean, they have another one coming out. It's the sequel features the same director, but like they were able to get sort of a bigger cast or afford a bigger cast because Bill Hader, James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain is in it.
Oh, because it's a later
it's like
version.
27 years afterwards.
Which is the original book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Because when I went to go see It Too, the first It.
Yeah.
Sorry, the remake. I was really surprised that it was full of kids because I remember watching that movie, like watching the original It with my mom when I was in elementary school or something, and I remember all of the people being adults. So I got really
well.
I
think the original one.
Not looking into it.
It does have kids in it,
mm-hmm.
but then I think it like they don't split it up. I think the book has like the second part with the adults in it.
Oh, I see.
So it's like they just did the kids, and now they're doing another one where it actually has the adults in it.
Okay.
I think I'm not really sure. But then, yeah, I guess Bill Hader had some funny quote about like it having some emotional magnitude apart from being a scary movie. So
I felt like the last one did definitely, especially with the like younger female character. That was quite like heavy emotionally.
I think it probably has to do with like them dealing with trauma together.
Yeah.
I can only assume like that's probably a big part of it.
Yeah, I like Bill Hader.
Yeah, me too.
He's cool.
Bill Hader's cool.
Yeah.
What was the last Bill Hader movie you saw?
Trainwreck.
Trainwreck. Fuck yeah.
I tried to convince you to watch that. You couldn't.
I watched like half an hour of it or something. I
think like when it came out, I thought it was really funny, and I like. Really,
it does have funny.
And
parts
I do,
in
yeah.
It.
It's like
it is
I
funny.
think there's something to that movie. It just made me really love Bill Hader more than anything, though.
Yeah.
Like I left that movie being like, I would marry Bill Hader. I would marry like that character.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Like I can imagine like, I don't know.
He's Mac DeMarco.
Sorry, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. But,
he's Mac DeMarco.
I saw something new in Bill Hader that night.
He's like that. He's like that attractiveness where you're like, yeah, he's not like traditionally handsome.
Yeah,
but he's funny.
He's funny,
and it makes up for it.
But I think that's it. Like that's what makes somebody attractive. It really isn't their physical thing. Like someone you could see someone be like, I'm not into that person, but like learning that they're funny, you're learning that they're a good actor or whatever. Yeah. Okay, continue.
Yeah, I was gonna say awkward silence because that's me. Anyway,
no.
But the director
you can't see him, ladies and gentlemen, but he is.
Oh my god,
smoking.
Oh boy. The director Andy Muschietti has recently signed on to develop an Attack on Titan. Do you know what that is?
That's a
I only
DC
sort
thing?
of know what this is. Sorry?
Is it a DC thing?
It's an anime thing,
Oh,
as far as I know.
okay.
It's just like I think it's like a titan or a giant like attacks a city.
Oh.
I'm not really sure. I'm probably like fucking this up, but live action movie and then a new adaptation of The Time Machine. Do you know what that is? I don't know what that is either, so I'm asking for your expertise.
I don't know anything.
Yeah. Anyway, he looks like he's like doing other stuff now, so that's kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, moving on. Ewan McGregor joins the Bird of Prey cast as the villain Black Mask.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Ewan McGregor.
That'd be cool, right? Like to
this
see him.
This entire podcast is just going to be about me loving male
The actors.
celebrities.
yeah, right.
Oh.
So that's the Birds of Prey is the one. Like the DC, it's a DC movie, but it's like the women, like Batman characters.
Oh, that's cool.
Huntress, which is like related to Batman in some way, like Batwoman, Batgirl, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Margot Robbie's going to be in it as Harley Quinn. Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
From Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. Will play Huntress, and then Journey Smollett Bell will play Black Canary.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's kind of neat. Like it'll be kind of cool to see Ewan McGregor in a bad guy role.
Yeah.
Because has he ever done like villain or bad guy? Probably not.
Yeah, he totally
right?
has. He totally has. Definitely.
In something.
I'm not
think
just
of
saying
it.
it because it's like
All I can think of is
not in terms of probability, but just like I know that he has.
yeah, right. You just can't think of it.
Yeah.
Because all I can think of is him playing Christopher Robin, and that's probably as far away from being a bad guy as you can possibly get.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, Black Mask is just like a mob boss.
That's cool. I hope it's not like Suicide Squad.
Oh God, I hope
like
it's
I hope
not
they
like
don't
that.
like. I was really excited for that movie, and it was not good.
It was fucking awful, man.
It was just too stylized, I think. I don't want them to do like the kitschy on-screen graphics and
yeah, I really hope not.
that kind of stuff. Like
and like the crappy like soundtrack that went along with it.
Yeah.
Where it was just like top 40 hits for the entire movie.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I'm listening to like
I hope
Virgin
they do
Radio.
it justice. Well, obviously, I hope they do it justice. That's like a lame point to make, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't know,
because it's an all
I could
women.
see this as an interesting entryway for me, somebody who doesn't know much about like comic movies and like,
because this will be like an all woman
and
cast.
Marvel universes. Like I think it could be something that would draw me in. So I hope
Totally.
they do it justice so that other like people who aren't necessarily as knowledgeable
into
whatever,
comic book movies
can feel a bit more included.
Yeah, exactly. And it's being
Because
directed
I
by
think it's obscure enough, kind of.
it kind of is. It's like on the outskirts of like what people would know.
Yeah.
But like having Harley Quinn, who people do know, and Margot Robbie, who people know, in it will probably be a big.
When does the Captain Marvel movie come out?
That's got to be like early next year. I think it's like
spring,
March or
probably?
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a cool movie. But it's gonna be directed by Kathy Yan, who is a Chinese American director, and she's the third DC woman director.
Nice. That's awesome.
So that's kind of
really
cool.
Nice to
I
hear.
think they're doing their due diligence, and it's gonna be rated R, which would be
Cool.
fucking cool.
That's
So
cool. I don't know why that makes it like cooler, but
I don't know. I think it's just because it's like an all-women cast. They're not pulling the punches. They're going all in on it.
instead of being like, "Oh, we'll make this like,"
Oh yeah, they're like,
14, you know?
yeah. I think that just makes it sort of, oh yeah, like they're not limiting themselves because, of any sort of restraints.
Yeah.
Like they're just.
They're
do
kind
what
of
you
going to
want.
make it as gruesome as it would be if it was a movie about like with an all male cast. you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. I hope they like do that justice.
I hope so too.
I hope they don't like skimp out.
And I hope like everything goes smoothly for them, so they get like a good script and everything sort of runs far away from like the DC garbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like they just Anyway.
Continue on.
Moving on. Anna Kendrick to star in a sci-fi thriller titled Stowaway.
Ooh.
So there's like a little synopsis
Don't know how I feel about Anna Kendrick though.
in a sci-fi movie, yeah.
She.
Or just in general, you mean?
I don't know. Like, I think I just associate her too much with her Twitter.
Yeah, right.
Her Twitter
Shower thought
like
stuff.
personality, and then like her very almost like unsettling role in the Twilight movies. So it's really like I have trouble putting two and two together, and then just like apparently this is some news for you, Pat.
Oh, great.
They're making a fourth Pitch Perfect, I think.
Oh my god.
There's a picture going around of like all the cast.
I think I saw the second one.
And yeah.
I saw the first and the second,
and,
I think.
Like the main four girls, Anna Kendrick and so on.
The
and
other
so forth.
ones. What's the Australian one's name? Ruby or Rebel.
Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, her and the Snow, Brittany Snow.
Yeah, right.
Whew, pulled that out of thin air. Anyways, so yeah.
See, you're fitting in so well. Can't remember any names. Like this is your except you're probably better than us. Fuck, man. Like
that's interesting to see her in that role.
You know what's weird too is that it's directed by Joe Penna, whose only real credits are his YouTube page called Mystery Guitar Man, which I know nothing about, which I'm just going to look up now. Mystery Guitar Man. It said that like he's got 2.7 million subscribers. That's nuts.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
And it's just like him making music videos. What? So how did this guy get a directing gig?
Pat, you're up next.
Oh my god. Yeah, it just says that like he's directing it. He wrote the script with Ryan Morrison. And then the little synopsis, according to Hollywood Reporter, it says, Stowaway follows the crew of a spaceship heading to Mars that discovers an accidental stowaway shortly after takeoff. Too far from Earth to turn back, and with resources quickly dwindling, the ship's medical researcher, played by Anna Kendrick, emerges as the only dissenting voice against the group's consensus that has already decided in favor of a grim outcome.
Who wrote that?
I don't know. That's
I'm sorry,
such
I need
garbage.
to go with a red pen and just
that entire thing is garbage.
What are you talking about?
And that's like I just copy pasted like the quote. Like I have it quoted here from the Hollywood Reporter. Wow. That sounds kind of cool. Like the plot idea, it sounds cool, right? Like so she plays a doctor. Sounds like.
Yeah.
And then they find a stowaway, and they want to get rid of her or him, her, whatever.
Yeah.
And she is the voice that says no, I guess. It's kind of what it sounds like.
Probably, yeah.
But I don't know. That sounds kind of cool. Doesn't really sound like it needs to be sci-fi. It sounds like it could be on anything.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't have to be
it could be like a
spaceship
ship
to Mars.
It
could be
like
on a ship.
Yeah.
Could be on a
boat,
plane.
A yacht.
A fancy train.
A fancy train, yeah.
Really anything. A submarine, perhaps?
A plane.
Yeah. That sounds cool.
Any mode of transportation, essentially. A scooter.
Yeah, it could be a scooter. They're going cross-country on a scooter,
bus.
and they find someone underneath.
A bus would be kind of cool.
See, we've already done better than this guy.
Yeah.
I'm super skeptical because, someone whose only real credits are a 2.7 million subscriber YouTube page has written and directing a movie starring Anna Kendrick. Like, I don't know how that's set up to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, she said yes to it, though.
Yeah, so she must have seen the script and was like, cool. She must have seen
something in it.
That
or
sounds
she
good.
just, people do it for the money, too, I guess.
Yeah,
but,
like she's on contract.
But on this, I don't think you would even, that probably wouldn't even, factor into your decision-making because it's, such a obscure film.
Yeah. It's a risk either way.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, I don't know.
More news.
Dev Patel, sorry, to make his directing debut with the revenge film Monkey Man. Dev Patel from Slumdog Millionaire, yeah. And what was that other one? Lion? I think it was called Lion. The one that got nominated for all the awards. He wrote the script and he's going to star in the movie, and it sets in India and follows a kid. His name's The Kid, who's played by Patel, who emerges from prison to take on a world in corporate greed and eroding spiritual values. The group who did John Wick and Atomic Blonde are going to be in charge of the action sequences. Fuck,
Oh.
man, I don't know what this movie's about. That sounds cool, though.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's like crime fighting.
Yeah, John Wick has like a lot of great fight scenes. And
Oh
action
yeah, I
scenes.
mean that's both of them are just so unbelievable.
Yeah, I haven't seen Atomic Blonde, but yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I haven't seen Atomic Blonde.
Interesting. Like, it's nice to see. I don't know, someone less conventional being in like an action.
Absolutely.
You know, not that I think Dev Patel is like definitely irrelevant. It's more so that, you know, it's not a straight white buff guy.
Exactly.
It.
Like if he's starring in it, like that means he's gonna be the person that does all these action sequences.
Yeah,
it's definitely cool to see someone of not white, not white straight man like doing something like this. So
yeah.
I'm glad that it's being covered. Definitely too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on, we'll try and like do these ones quickly. Ridley Scott is moving forward with Gladiator 2.
Oh.
That seems weird. I don't know why you would do that. That's from like 18 years ago.
Yeah.
By the time the movie gets made, it'll probably be 20 years ago too.
Is it?
Came out in 2000.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Ridley Scott will direct it, and Peter Craig is set to write the script. So they don't actually have anybody writing this. Like they haven't written the script. They're just going like, oh yeah, I have an idea. I want to do Gladiator 2 again, or Gladiator again.
I think 20 years is an okay time to like try to bring something back.
I wonder if Russell Crowe will be back.
Oh.
That'd be
Maybe.
interesting.
That would be cool.
That
if
would
it
be
was
cool.
actually set 20 years in the future. Like,
yeah.
Not
like,
just like 6 months later.
After he's done his thing, it's like someone else. I don't know.
Interesting.
Peter Craig, who's writing the script, has written The Town and then 2 Hunger Game movies.
Oh, I think we watched The Town with Andrew and he got mad at me because I made fun of it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was great. I love that movie. That movie's great.
Yeah, he got mad at me because
but
I was just...
did not like that movie.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I'm the worst person to see a movie with.
Yeah,
though.
right.
I am so... I can't stop myself.
No.
Which to me is probably a good reason to be on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a lot of opinions. Okay, go on.
Okay, last thing. Aaron Sorkin has been attached to direct The Trial of the Chicago 7, starring Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh.
So that movie is based on Brett Morgen's documentary Chicago 10, which chronicles the infamous 1969 trial of 7 defendants charged with the federal or by the federal government with conspiracy and more arising from the counterculture protests in Chicago at the 1968 Democratic National Convention.
Oh.
Sounds
political.
Interesting. Very political. I don't know. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
Weird that it's called, the documentary is called Chicago 10 and then the movie's called The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of, but it's like why make a dramatization of the movie if there's already a documentary? Like, doesn't that cover
most of it?
Most of it, right? Because like I feel like the documentary would be dramatized in some sense, just not like it'd be like a nonfiction, right?
Yeah.
Guys, anyway, interesting.
Must be a pretty riveting story, I guess.
Steven Spielberg was originally set to direct it, and Aaron Sorkin wrote the script 10 years ago.
Oh wow!
When Steven Spielberg was
so
originally...
maybe the documentary wasn't out yet.
Yeah, maybe actually that would make sense. But yeah, that's just kind of interesting.
Interesting. Here, I second that.
That's it for news.
Let's get chatting.
Okay. So Halloween, spoiler alert, Halloween, starring Jamie Lee. What's that?
You don't have to say that. The spoiler alert part.
Oh yeah, right.
Because
oh yeah, because you say it in the beginning. Fun fact. That's Georgia.
That is me.
Someone asked me that if that was you. I forget who
really?
it was now.
This episode of Twin Speaks contains spoilers.
That might have been exactly it. That's exactly how it sounds.
I say it along with myself every time I listen.
Yeah, right. Just like a little jingle.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's funny. Okay. So Halloween starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, Andy Matichak, Will Patton, and Virginia Gardner. Directed by David Gordon Green and written by Jeff Fradley, Danny McBride, and David Gordon Green. So the movie basically like it's like the direct sequel to the first one.
By like 30 years.
Yeah, by 30 years. So it's supposed to happen afterwards, and then it's all about like Jamie Lee Curtis's character has a family, and then
she has a daughter that gets taken away from
Yeah.
her because she's paranoid following the first film.
Yeah, exactly. She's paranoid
And-
about Michael Myers coming back, so her family gets taken away.
Yeah, she like trains her daughter how to like fight and shoot guns and
Pretty
protect
much.
herself, and she ends up getting her daughter ends up getting taken away from her.
Yeah.
And she doesn't end up like really having much of a relationship with her granddaughter.
Yeah. But it does seem like her granddaughter makes an attempt to sort of be in the
picture
Jamie Lee
despite-
Curtis's.
yeah.
Yeah. So basically the movie's about like there's like a podcast group who's going and trying to like sort out these details about Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis, and then as it happens in horror movies, like it goes horribly wrong, and Michael Myers breaks out of prison from like a bus crash and like gets his mask back, kills people all along the way. Super, super graphic movie, like obviously being a horror movie, but like, man, he kills a lot of people.
Yeah.
Through the entire movie.
He does. I think I'm not great with the scary stuff. Mostly it's the gory stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, right. We should
But,
preface this by saying, she like was...
I cannot handle gore.
Yeah.
I can handle blood. So like, for me, I think it was very jarring.
Totally.
Some of the violence scenes, especially the first, like following the bus crash, like the first people he kills. Can I say who he kills?
Totally, yeah.
Okay,
we're
so when he
doing
kills the two documentary,
podcast
people, sorry,
Yeah.
The two researchers that he just so happens to stumble upon because,
Yeah.
Well, they did go visit him in prison.
They did go visit him
and
in
that's
prison.
kind of like it antagonizes him a bit in
Yeah.
the beginning.
And then he gets out.
because
but then
he's known for
somehow
not
he
saying
finds
anything.
them.
He's basically like he has this like team of researchers who
Yeah.
want to figure out why he does what he does and the emotions that are going through him or lack thereof. So they do antagonize him.
Totally.
But that murder, when they get murdered, is disgusting.
Hard to listen to.
It's hard to listen to, and I guess hard to watch too. In those,
It's
like,
not
when
so
his
much-
head
yeah.
getting slammed against the wall.
Because he just sort of like picks up the guy. The guy opens, because it all happens in a bathroom. Like the woman the podcaster's in the bathroom, and then she hides in the stall, and he like goes into the stall and he like drops like a handful of teeth over the door to like scare her. I don't know. Like what's that?
I don't know. That's
Because like
that seems
she was
very-
already scared.
He doesn't really seem like. I think that's part of Michael Myers' is like his thing is that he's not very human-like. He's
Yeah.
almost like animalistic. Like he almost doesn't. He doesn't show any kind of like range of emotions. But that seemed like a very decided action.
Yeah.
It almost surprised me because I don't think that's necessarily true to his character. He doesn't really like mentally screw with the people he's trying to murder. He just
kills them.
murders them in
Yeah.
cold blood. Like there's no range of emotion or like decidedness to do it. So it is interesting that he did that because it seems
Because really that's the only part in the entire movie that well, actually maybe only it was like the first of two, because I would say the other kid who's like drunk,
yeah.
like he kind of toys with him. But like every other part, like he's
Oh,
just
I
like
guess so, yeah.
he just kills them. Like he's not really. It doesn't seem like there's any thought. He just sort of goes like, oh, I don't like this person. I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah, I think that was like a really hard scene to watch.
And like listen to, because like you
Yeah.
just hear him slamming his head against the bathroom door,
Ugh.
and it's like this just like awful sound.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
just awful.
I do think that like there was the murders and the violence were like quite gruesome,
Yeah.
obviously, but I think they were like it didn't seem like too much or too little. I guess too few. Like I think it was pretty well just like dispersed throughout the film, and there was purpose behind each killing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think even in those scenes where he's just going house to house,
Yeah.
on Halloween night.
Okay,
and
so
there's people walking around him.
back up a little bit. Basically, like we'll sum up the movie really quickly. He
Okay.
gets out of prison, whatever like this holding sort of mental facility is.
Yeah, not
There's a
important.
bus crash. He gets out. He hunts down these podcasters who are like researching him and his file, and they sort of antagonize him. He gets out. It's Halloween. He then wants to find. Obviously, he wants to find Jamie Lee Curtis's
Lori.
Lori, her family in some capacity.
Yeah.
It seems like he's hunting the family, but he more so wants her. And then she sort of has prepared herself for this.
She's been preparing for the last
30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And like the daughter's prepared, everybody's sort of prepared, but like has sort of distanced themselves from her because of that, because of her like anal tentativeness to like whatever has happened.
Yeah, she's paranoid.
Yeah, she's super paranoid. Anyway, it's like all about him hunting her down, them trying to close that, tie off those loose ends, because really they're both loose ends to each other. But
the movie's also just about these generations of women, and the fact that this fear was being passed down to the daughter who rejected it and just like decided to kind of like live without that fear, her mom's fear. And
it wasn't her fear, so it was her mom's.
And then about her daughter kind of living with the fact that her mom and her grandmother are like in a really tense, angry relationship.
Basically, that's how the movie is. It's a very like stalker, prey versus predator kind of thing. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so you can go on to...
Oh, I was going to say, so for those scenes where he's like walking house to house just killing people on Halloween,
Man.
kills one woman with a hammer in her kitchen,
Fuck, that was rough.
Goes in the back door and slits her throat. Like, I think that helped us realize that he was going to go find her, because he came from this like highway in the middle of nowhere to a rural area, and he obviously made choices getting there, and like he does drive in the movie, which I think is weird.
Did you find that interesting too? I was like, oh, he can drive. I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I was like, he must be driving. He
steals that truck, and I'm just like the police he
drives the police car, and then he drives like the kid's truck, because he kills that kid.
Oh, that was sad too.
Yeah,
but I think that was like really, that was telling, because it just goes to show that he wasn't just hunting down the podcasters or the documentary people. He was like making choices, kind of like trying to find them. That's what it felt like to me anyways, because I think if you don't look at it that way, then it seems quite random that he's just like, kill you and I kill you. And then when he's killing the granddaughter's friends, they make a joke about her grandma's like past with Michael Myers and stuff, and they kind of make a joke about it not being that scary, the idea that someone could like come back, because there's other bad things going on in the world, and then they end up getting killed by him. So
they kind of like fluff it off. They're like, oh come on, like there's way
which is a bit
shittier
coincidental
things.
Because, and I think I said this too when we got out of the theater, like the fact that in this huge rural area, he happens to stumble upon the granddaughter's best friend and her boyfriend like making out in some house where she's babysitting. Like that did seem a little like
purpose
head scratching for me.
It was pretty ham-fisted. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, totally.
But I mean, like, it was interesting because there's a lot of the parts of the movie where you go like, I guess that makes sense, right? Like where he's going house to house because he doesn't know where she lives. So he's going like, guess I'll start here. Goes inside. Oh, it's not this person. Well, fuck it. I'll kill them anyway. Mm-hmm. And then he sort of just keeps moving on. And then but what's weird is like, there's a part where he just sort of doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like when he finds, there's a part where, Lori's his granddaughter and this other kid. I hope
it's Lori. It is Lori.
Yeah, I think it's like that. And the granddaughter are leaving a Halloween party at the school that they go to with a friend. So they're like kind of taking a shortcut, classic shortcut thing in a horror movie where they like end up in this backyard, and the friend tries to kiss the granddaughter, and the granddaughter like storms off. And, like, he happens to be in the backyard. Yeah. And I was like, when that happened, I was like, but, like, this doesn't make sense because he was going into houses. Like, he wasn't going in, like, just standing in backyards kind of looking. Like, you see him in the corner and he's just sort of in a shadow. Yeah. Like, he's just, and I was like, oh, what the hell? Like, he's just.
It was very, like,
there's a lot of things where it's like, he seems like he's very purposeful, where he wants to just go into a house, see if it's a person. If it's not, he kills them. If he does, then he's done.
But I guess that logic can kind of be erased when we think about a horror movie because the entire thing is essentially based off of, like, chance, you know? And the fact that, like, in order for writers, I think especially, like, horror writers, to make something interesting and scary for people, they kind of do have to go against the odds because you can't have a movie without having a consistent cast. Mm-hmm. And you need to have, like, come up with ways to bring these cast members, or these, your cast back into the movie without it, and, you know, maintain this, like, suspense throughout the entire thing.
Yeah,
so there needs to be, like, a bit of coincidence in order for, I think, any writer to get away with being able to do that, because it's really hard to write a storyline where, you know, it's hard to make something scary if the people get in a car, drive far, far away, and never see the scary person ever again, right?
Sure,
There needs to be this, like, meeting.
Yeah,
and then
by chance.
Yeah, by chance, over and over and over again, so
Sure.
that these people, you know, keep meeting the scary thing or the scary person, and then there's a penultimate, like, climax, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there does need to be a bit of that.
Yeah.
Because if the daughter hadn't been involved, or, like, she hadn't watched her friend get murdered, then, you know, then she just goes home and her parents, they all go to Laurie's house, you know? But, like, you needed that. Which is like a fortress. The daughter had to meet him at some point that night, right?
I guess
Alone,
so, yeah.
So that she kind of understands the magnitude of what's going on.
Well, yeah, for there to be
can,
any
like,
stakes,
yeah, so
really.
she can, like, come back later and serve her purpose in the plot. So
what did you think of the different characters then? Did you feel like there was sort of any attachment at all to them? Because, like, there's the granddaughter who I actually quite liked, and I felt like she was really in danger, like, the entire movie. I don't know if that got picked up. I don't think it did. Try talking.
Hello?
Okay, yeah, that's good. I'm just gonna leave that in. Nice little tidbit. But I like the granddaughter. I felt like she was at risk.
She was
for almost the entire movie. Like, something would happen to her and, like, force her into a situation that she just didn't think was gonna happen to her, or, you know. Yeah, basically, like, she didn't think it was going to happen to her. She was going to be put in danger. But then the daughter, I felt like, was like, she knew what was going on. And I really like the daughter, too, who's played by Judy Greer, I think. And it felt like she had, like, this inkling that she knew what was going on because of her mom's paranoia, Jamie Lee Curtis. And, like, she...
Do you mean when the mom kept coming in and being like, you need to take this gun, like, that sort of thing?
And she's like, oh, I know what's going on. She's like, we're perfectly prepared.
No. I had the sense that the complete opposite.
That she just didn't care.
Yeah, that she just didn't even, like, tune in to anything that was going on around her.
Because I feel like she was playing dumb.
And she was so, like, kind of, like, living in her little bubble.
Yeah, right.
But it wasn't until the mom shows up at the end and is like, you need to come with me. He's out here killing people, that I was like, okay, now she gets it.
Okay.
But I think she had just dealt with her mom's anxieties and paranoia for so long that you kind of come to, like, stop believing somebody at that point, obviously. So.
Yeah. But the dad, I thought, was just awful. It was stupid.
Yeah, they tried to make him funny, but it kind of just came off a bit odd.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. There was, like, something super weird about his character.
I was okay with him dying in the end, and I was, like, surprised by that. Whatever. Yeah.
As soon as he's introduced, you're like, he's gonna die.
I didn't necessarily think so, but then he died, and I was like, yeah, I'm not mad about it.
Because then he just goes outside.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing?
And it's sad. It's like, it's not about, like, him. So I was okay with it, you know? He was such a, like, I don't know. He was on the periphery of the film.
The entire time.
For the entire time.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad about that.
There's a lot of great moments in this movie. Like with Michael Myers stepping on his like
doctor's
like head. Because like through the entire movie, the doctor's just he like believes that there's something more to him.
Well, yeah, he's been studying him for a long time, and he's like, he's mad because he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, he's quiet.
He's always quiet.
They always try and provoke him into saying something, but Michael Myers never says anything. He's he's silent.
But that doctor was like his true champion. Like really believed that there was something more to him than just like a murderous.
There was no way he was going to let it go.
Monster.
Yeah,
you know, he was convinced. But I liked that twist. Like I thought that twist was really interesting and unique because it really seemed like, you know, he had become
attached to him.
So attached to him that he was willing to like kill somebody just to have an idea of what Michael felt.
Excuse me.
Or like the exhilaration that he got from doing it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just like such a dark
twist
in the film that was
exactly
so unexpected.
And then he puts on the mask.
Then he puts on the mask, and then he's putting this young girl and her life in jeopardy by putting her in the back seat with Michael.
That was maybe one of the worst moments for me. I was like, oh, she's dead now. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like he's unconscious. Like because there's a part of the movie where the sheriff is like driving. They're like looking for the Michael Myers. They're like looking for him. And then they find him, and they like ram their SUV into him, and it like knocks him unconscious.
Yeah.
And so the doctor goes and looks at him and says, "Oh, he's dead." And then he like ends up stabbing the sheriff and killing him.
Who was like the first police officer on the scene?
Yeah,
in the
he was
first
actually
movie.
from the original movie.
Yeah.
And he dies, and then we find out this weird twist about like, oh, the doctor just absolutely like was fascinated and really, like you said, like championed him. But then, like, he puts him into, like, the back of the car with the girl. And I was like, fuck, like, that's it. Like, I like the girl. I thought she was going to survive this, and then that was it. And then somehow, like, it was weird because, like, he gets out of the car, like, and starts driving away. And then, like, he just sort of lets her go. And I don't know if his entire plan, and that's the thing, I don't know if that was the plan of Michael Myers to actually kill her in any way. You know what I mean? Because like there was like a weird thing where he's just like sitting there, he looks at her and she starts screaming, and instead of killing her, he kills the doctor.
Yeah.
Like he made the choice to go after the doctor who was driving, and like starts beating him up from the back seat and like pushes him through the front of the car. And then he's like laying on the ground, and Michael Myers like goes up to him, and he's standing over top of him, and he goes, "Say something." And then he just squishes like his like toothpaste out of the back of his head. His brain just like pops out.
Oh my god, that was disgusting.
So disgusting.
But she gets out of the car. Allison is the daughter's name. Allison gets out of the car and like runs through the woods, and I thought that was cool, and that was also suspenseful because you knew that he wasn't coming after her.
Yeah,
like you could tell that he had another like idea.
Yeah,
but he like it was still scary when she was running through the woods.
Totally.
I was like, God, what if you run into something else? Like,
well, what if she just gets lost and like that's it?
Yeah.
That's what I kept thinking. I was like, she's not even gonna make it to the house.
Oh, really? I knew she was gonna stumble upon it eventually. It
was cool though. Like, and then obviously like the house was fucking sweet too because she had like all these guns in the basement, and then I mean that was such a cool ending.
Yeah,
that was a really cool ending, and I guess like we'll sort of get to talk about that now because the ending was awesome.
Yeah,
they get them all into the house, and like they have this like secret basement room, and so
that
Michael
pulls
Myers
out like underneath the island in the kitchen. The island like swings over, and there's a set of stairs.
And then it just opens up, and they can kind of go downstairs.
Yeah, but it's like hidden. Like you can close it when you're down there, so no one knows you're in the basement or how to get down there. That was really cool, and I like. It was scary, and like, I don't know, those scenes when Jamie Lee Curtis, like the father of the granddaughter and like the husband to the daughter of Laurie, like. He's already outside dead at this point. Allison is running through the woods thinking that she's running away from Michael, but he's actually already at like Laurie's house.
Yeah.
And the dad's dead outside, and Laurie's daughter is in the basement, and Laurie is upstairs like hunting Michael through the house. Oh my gosh.
That was such an intense...
so suspenseful. She's going room to room. They've turned all the lights off. Like, that scene where she's just going, like...
With the gun.
You never know. And I think that's the scariest part about, like, horror movies and scary movies is, like, they just draw that suspense out for as long as possible. So you just... Something could happen at any minute, and you just don't know what's going to happen.
Absolutely,
it's just like... In
that scene, it was done really, really well.
It was done really well.
She's so, she's in the safety of being downstairs in the basement where he doesn't even know that they are. He doesn't even know that that room exists.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's now in the house somewhere. And so she has to come out from the basement and start looking, fucking room to room. And it's done so well. And like she goes to the room and like, swings the gun around. You immediately think it's going to be the first room and it's not. And then she slams like that cool button down where it like closes the door. And it's like this like cool metallic. I mean, the sound for it's awesome. And it just like, all of a sudden you can't go into that room anymore. The door's slammed shut. It's like a prison in there. And then she just starts moving along, and then she like that part when she finally ends up in the top floor with like the mannequins. There's like all these mannequins that she's been like shooting at from like the previous scenes where she's like doing target practice. They're in her room for some reason, and you can hear Michael Myers in the room somewhere. You don't know where he is. You can hear him breathing, like through the mask. And that was just like, that's all you hear through the entire scene is him inhaling and exhaling. And that was super intense.
Yeah, that was terrifying on so many levels. The ending was really, really cool.
Yeah.
But I would like kind of like to talk about like how many times can I say like? It's embarrassing. I want to talk about women in the movie, I guess.
Sure.
Like how we felt about those 3 generations of women and the acting, and because they definitely carried the plot.
Absolutely.
It was decisions that each of them were making that like influenced this entire film. So yeah, what did you think about it?
About the women in the movie?
Yeah.
I felt like that was the one juggernaut of the movie.
Yeah.
Was like every single woman character of that movie pushed the plot forward and pushed the conclusion into like what had finally taken place. And they were the really like the only real movement in the movie from like a writing standpoint. But the final scene of like the 3 of them like coming together and forcing Michael Myers into the basement so that they could close the hatch and then light him on fire. It was such a symbolic like ending.
Yeah.
Because it was like these 3 women have taken and like they've been beat up and they've had their challenges and stuff, and like the daughter had to like really fight for her way into the house, and the Laurie's daughter had to like, I mean, she was like not sure if she was even gonna do it, and then she tricked Michael into like coming to the door and finally fires at him. It was like such a symbolic way of like just the fighting power of women, and like for them to come together and finally like take this out and have it happen, and it was unbelievable. It was awesome.
I'm realizing now too, like all the male characters in the movie die.
They all sucked.
Except for the shitty boyfriend. Because
he disappeared. I don't know what happened to him.
Because Hawkins, the sheriff, is dead.
He died.
The doctor dies.
Doctor died.
So
the friend
does
died.
the friend.
And then
so does
the babysitter's boyfriend died.
He died as well. The dad died.
Dad died.
Probably
most
importantly.
The 2 other police officers died.
Yeah. But it's the 3 women that are like kind of left.
Yeah.
And you knew that none of them were going to die.
Yeah,
because they were so important to the movie, but I still liked it. I thought it was like a nice, like a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Because it kind of seems like a movie that's like quietly championing women, like it wasn't in your face, but
it wasn't ham-fisted. It wasn't sort of like, oh yeah, we want the women to be the main sort of the success story of this movie. Yeah. But it was like done in a way it was like they fought natural. And they clawed into it. Like it was awesome.
Yeah, it felt natural, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then like the final scene of like the house catching on fire, like they've trapped Michael and then it catches on fire and like the 3 women are sort of outside the house. Mm-hmm. Was like very, like rebirth, sort of like the classic.
So it was very symbolic.
Very symbolic, yeah.
That's what you're trying to say?
Pretty much, yeah. I was trying not to say the word symbolic again. But yeah, it was a cool movie. Like, it was a cool ending. I really, really liked the ending.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And it was really cool to see the women character. I mean, obviously, like Laurie in the original movie was sort of
she came out on top.
Yeah, but it was
For
cool
lack
to
of a better
see.
word.
But I think it was interesting to see like them sort of take that sort of not even political stance, but just sort of like nod, I guess, to like the three generations. You know, symbolic of our current political, I don't know, climate. Yeah, thank you. That there's a sort of a common goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it was ham-fisted. I don't think it was really forced down your throat. I think it was done really well. And I definitely think the second half of the movie was really cool. So I guess we're coming into like the what'd you think of it part of the episode. What did you think of it? What would you sort of like give it? Like, what was your favorite parts?
I think it's difficult for me to like feel a certain way about a horror movie because I'm not a huge horror fan. I don't like scary movies. I watch one when the occasion arises. I'm never the instigator, and I think that that's definitely informing my ideas around the movie a bit. Like, I'm never gonna like it as much as I would like, you know, something that isn't a horror movie. But I really enjoyed it. Like, I was scared, obviously.
It was really intense.
It was intense.
Yeah.
I was intrigued by the plot line. Bit coincidental, sure. You know, we've heard of the escaped convict before, and like
sometimes
there
cliche,
needed to be an issue. There needed to be something arise. Like he had to be transferred to a different treatment center, and that's why they were taking the bus.
Yeah, and it happened to coincide with
Halloween,
yeah.
And he happened to be driving towards the town in which Laurie and her, you know.
Side note,
but
was it not hilarious when the sheriff or the cop says all that?
Yeah.
Like, he actually says it word for word. He's like, a little coincidental that it's all happening by Halloween and like the whatever 20-year, 30-year thing. It's like, I guess we were all thinking that. But
yeah. But I did really enjoy it, and I think it was like fun, spooky. Kind of everything that you like, you know, would want. A little bit corny here and there. Like a little bit much, I think, at spots. Like I wasn't mad about the cheating, you know, boyfriend sort of bit. Like, I don't know.
What's your rating?
Out of 7?
Yes, out of 7.
I would give it a 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, solid.
So, like, if it were a movie, like, if you do like horror, you'd probably give it, like, a 6.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know. I liked it. I liked second half, I think, more than the first half. First half, it was like, okay, like, I want more Jamie Lee Curtis. I felt like it was they were sort of lacking on Jamie Lee Curtis in the first half.
She almost seemed like the B-plot, and then she wasn't the B-plot anymore.
Yeah. But then I felt like the second half, I was, like, really into it. It was fun. It was, like, really fast. It was, you know, moving right along. It was you're right, there was a lot of cliche stuff, sort of classic and like that kind of slasher.
Again, I wasn't mad at that though.
Yeah, I know, because it kind of fit.
It
was like, they were sort of self-aware, and they put that stuff in because they knew what they were doing in terms of the first one. But I think 6 out of 7 for me.
Yeah, I would say it's a very unoffensive movie. I mean, for me, like, there is quite a lack of diversity in that movie. Yeah,
a lot of white people.
I know that, you know, it's probably the fact that they have to go off of, like, original casting from the original.
And it's sort of in, like, suburbia.
And it's like, you know, but again, you're following, like, that's very much the brand of that film. So I think to do it differently, you know, probably would be a little bit odd. But, yeah, I think all in all, it's like, is it the best movie I've ever seen? No. Do I want to watch it again anytime soon?
Probably not, yeah.
But
it was still...
For what it was an enjoyable film.
Like, did we pay for it and enjoy the movie?
Yes.
Yeah. I got my money's worth.
I didn't want to leave the theater halfway.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, you did. But, you know.
I was too afraid to go to the bathroom by myself. I made Pat come with
We
me.
should have said that in the beginning. That would
Yeah.
have been funny.
We just got to this part and I was like, I need
Yeah.
to pee really bad.
And then we just
and
happened to
also,
come back.
well, it was that bathroom scene in the beginning. Like, I just couldn't get it out of my head. And then
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to be sitting in a stall and just, like,
Hearing that.
hearing it or,
Yeah.
like, just being so on edge that yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I think 6 out of 7 for me, 5 out of 7 for you.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat and I have been thinking about doing, like, a Christmas special about all these different Christmas movies that we watched last year. And I think we should.
The same guy.
They had the actor that plays Regina George's boyfriend in Mean Girls. What is his name? I'm going to do a quick
You're going to look
Google.
it up right now?
Yeah.
'Cause
he's been featured in many
Christmas
like
movies.
Hallmark-esque Christmas
Netflix,
movies.
straight to
Aaron
Netflix.
Samuels, his name is Jonathan Bennett. That's
Jonathan
the actor that we're
Bennett.
thinking of. And we just coincidentally found a bunch of films last year for Christmas.
That just
that all
randomly
feature him.
realized. Yeah.
And I think we might plan to do a marathon or try to find maybe a fourth Christmas movie
Yep,
that he's
we'll
done. If
do-
he's done anything recent.
We're sort of thinking of doing like a Christmas series
Yeah,
of
about
just watching these movies.
because it's those hidden gems.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's super weird that he's in so many of them. And he
Yeah.
plays different characters, but then mostly the same acting.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
he's
His
mostly the
character
same
is
character.
essentially the same person three
Yeah.
different times.
So,
So,
yeah,
if you guys are interested at all, let us
hit
know.
that motherfucking like
I
button.
got to convince Andrew to let me do another guest spot.
Yeah, right. But I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, we're on Instagram now. So
Yeah.
check that out. We're on Spotify now as well. We're back on YouTube. I should have said that all off the beginning, but if you made it this
listen
far.
on Spotify.
Yeah, listen to on Spotify. Yeah, that was Twin Speaks First Watch, First Listen, featuring guest spot with Georgia.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
We're going to have to make dinner now. I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too. At States of Georgia, you can find her on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was at Halloween. Follow us at Twin Speaks Pod.
And follow me at andemonium_. No, wait, it's just at andemonium.
Andemonium, yeah.
Yours is
You can find me
kidcombo_.
at kidcombo_. But yeah, that was Halloween. That's pretty much it, I think.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye.